Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm excited to talk to you about your extraordinary events that have happened in your life. Let's just call them. Which have
a bit of a strange experience for sure.
a little bit outside the box, let's say. So tell me about that day that everything kind of changed for you.
Well, the big thing is me and my buddy, we found some amazing results doing natural bodybuilding with a product that was called Furanone to Hydro. And you were never supposed to take more than one bottle cap
a day.
And a day.
How old were you during this process?
I was 25.
Fair enough.
In your
Okay.
20s, you've got invincible.
You've got to pass. You were an idiot. I was too. We were all 20. When we're 25, we're all dumb. Generally speaking.
There you go.
Okay, so you take this toxic amount of this supplement, which is fascinating in its own right. What happens?
We got in the car, and as we were heading out the door, getting into the car, we both felt it. It was hitting us really fast, and it felt almost like a drunkenness. And I felt cold spreading from around my chest and my thighs, like literally cold. My body was becoming cold. So I said, hey, let's go get something to eat. You know, sometimes if you get a little too much of this stuff, you can get something to eat and it'll make you feel better. So we headed down the street, about 2 blocks down the street, to a Dairy Queen. I stumbled into the restaurant, made it directly to the bathroom, which was right by the door. And I proceeded to just passed out right there on the floor on my back. And I began to aspirate or vomit and breathe in my vomit. Literally died right there on the floor.
And how long were you out for?
So from the time that my buddy came in and they called 911 to get me out of it was about almost an hour. So we know for at least 45 minutes, at the most conservative estimate, the 911 to come and get this dead body.
So okay. What happened then when you started to transition?
So for me, from my perspective, what I was watching is I watched the room get very dizzy as I walked in there into that bathroom, and it felt like the whole room started to spin backwards. The very next moment, I felt like I was like plunged into cool electricity. 100% of pain was completely gone. Then I recognized also that I was surrounded by just nothingness. And out of nowhere, I started to see this like fogginess in front of me start to get clearer and clearer and brighter and clearer and brighter. And what it was this scene of this restaurant, but I was looking from above, but I could see everywhere in the restaurant as if there was no roof. Like no ceiling, no roof. I could see everywhere in the restaurant. I could see and hear the thoughts, feelings, everything that anyone was feeling in that building. It was just so surreal. I kept thinking that I was watching a movie. And I'm sitting here trying to process from the paradigm, this must be a movie. And in no way did I think that dead body was me on the ground, because me was completely up here. Me was up here watching everything. There's no possible way that me was down there. I watched them haul away my friend in the ambulance. I must have died instantaneously because I watched them haul him away, and I knew without knowing, I don't know how I knew he was going to be okay. But I knew that this other guy in the bathroom, that he was in serious trouble, that he was gone.
So, okay, so then what happened?
So I watched them call the 911 the second time, and they're on the phone with the operator. The operator is saying, feel these certain areas for a pulse. She touched the body. She like cringed and pulled back. She's like, no, it's cold. And as soon as they said that, the operator said, oh, don't touch the body. Lock the bathroom, secure the door. We have some medics coming on their way. And we've also called police. Well, and it was shortly thereafter, it was only about 5 minutes after that an ambulance pulled up, a completely different one than the first one. And this ambulance shows up, it's a 3-man team. So there's 2 veteran medics, and there's 1 rookie medic. And the rookie is kind of the tag along. It's his first live week on the job, and he's supposed to primarily observe and help out. And somehow I know all this. I just know it from the second they show up. I just know this. They attempted preliminary resuscitation, and they weren't able to get anything, obviously. The body was actually starting to get a little stiff in the legs. So they knew this one was gone. They went ahead and bagged it. They were there for about 45 minutes to an hour while they put the body in the bag. They got statements from everybody who witnessed anything. Meanwhile, the rookie is sitting in the back of that ambulance while he's waiting for the other two medics to kind of process all the paperwork, get all the paperwork signed. He's sitting there back there staring at this body bag and feeling all these feelings that, like, why can't we make a difference for this one? Why am I even doing this? I wish that I could have tried harder. I wish I could have done more. And I felt that consistently coming from him. This is where it gets very interesting from my perspective. The heart area of this rookie medic, he's sitting in the back of the ambulance. He's staring at the body, but he started to glow. Literally, light started to form around his heart area, his heart space. And as this light starts to form there, I felt a distinct energy like pass over me, literally went over my head. And as it did, I perceived that it hit that rookie medic, like in the heart space. And then very loudly, like extremely loud, I heard a loud male voice say, "This one's not dead." And then it was silent again. And I looked around. I tried to look both directions behind me. I couldn't see anything behind me. I could just see just like a dark fog. But again, I could still see very clearly in front of me what was going on inside this ambulance. And I saw the rookie think about it for a second, and then he shrugged it off like, no, there's no way, like there's no possible way. And that light that was just in his heart area, it actually got brighter and started to grow, and it went from his waist to above his head, where all that area of his body started to glow. And then that voice came a second time, and I felt it the same way as the first time, an actual energy go over my presence, over who I was. And it hit him, but it was even louder the second time. And it said, "This one's not dead." And it just said it like matter of fact. But what was really cool to me is that was enough for this rookie to begin doing something. So the second he heard it the second time, he unzips the body bag. He has to undo these straps on the body just to even unzip the body bag. He reaches around the neck area. He's trying to find a pulse. He can't find anything. He reaches under the arm area, can't find a pulse. It's cold, it's stiff, it's gross. And he's even feeling this, like this is a dead body. And he had to undo one more strap, and he was feeling on the inside femur area. He was trying to feel for that femoral artery. When he made that contact, I felt a spark, like a shock, where I was sitting up here watching this movie per se. I felt a shock, and I saw him jump right when I felt the shock. So I think that he felt it too. And that was enough for him that there has to be something there. So he continued to unzip the body bag. He undid a couple more straps. He began forcing oxygen into the lungs. Then he also hooked up a defibrillator, and that is for the heart, to shock the heart. And when he hooked that up, it makes this alarm sound. Meanwhile, the other two veteran medics, they're deep in conversation about sports. But when the alarm bell went off, the warning alarm for the defib machine, and they started to freak out on this medic. They started yelling at him, telling him he's going to get fired. He's breaking protocol. How do you like to be fired on your first week on the job? Just really going to town on him. And he just ignored it, completely ignored it. He let the defib hit. He let it charge and hit. It did not do any result. There was no heartbeat. He went ahead and charged a second time. And again, these medics are chewing him out. They're chewing him out. He lets it go a second time. At the second time, he did get a single heartbeat, one heartbeat, and then it was flatline again. And that single heartbeat was enough to like shut up the veteran medics. They completely stopped talking, and they knew something odd was going on here, something very different. And so the third round of shocks happened, which that medic allowed a third round. On the third round, it was a steady but faint heartbeat, continuous. So he was able to get that heart started back up. Shocks and
after
easily over an hour, and there's some estimates that say it could easily be an hour and a half to 2 hours, factoring in all the paperwork, the time I was in the body bag, all of that. Yeah. Now I was still brain dead. The body was still brain dead, and for 3 more days I was brain dead, and that's where I had my experience. I had my experience while the body was brain dead.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I have to process all of this. This is pretty. Okay, so you've been brought back. Your body has been brought back to life, or at least it's brought back somehow.
It is, yeah. The body is brought back.
Yeah, the body's back. The brain's still gone. Arguably, after I think it's 8 to 10 minutes of brain dead, you're a vegetable. You can't come back from that. But yours is an extreme case. You're talking about 60 to 90 minutes, if not a little longer, of brain dead. Which is, you're in a body bag. That's as far as you go. I haven't heard the body bag one yet. What is happening at this point?
So up until this point, I still didn't know I was watching me. And again, people are like, how did you not know? And I'm like,
dude, I was dead. Give me cut me some slack. I was dead.
Cut me some slack. And I was brain dead. And I was brain dead to boot.
I'm brain dead and I'm dying. I'm trying to process this, guys. Come on.
So I'm sitting here I feel like I'm in an interactive movie. I really do. So the second my heart started, within seconds, literally seconds, they had the body transferring into an ICU ER and getting triage and getting treated. As they did that, the body itself was going through all sorts of convulsions and seizures. And they strapped the body down because they had to work on it. They couldn't work on it as it was just, flailing all over. They went to strap the left arm down, and I'm left-handed. And again, I was a bodybuilder. I was really strong. I felt them strapping my left arm. And in fact, so strongly, I felt myself resist. And I watched the body break the left strap that they were trying to use to strap the arm. And that was the first inkling I had that what I'd been witnessing, what I'd been watching this whole time was my own death. And it was an extremely scary moment for me. I'm sitting there trying to figure out, how did I not know I was dead? How could I be so ignorant to not know that this entire experience I was witnessing was my own death? And as I walked that path of energy, of self-deprivation or the self-deprivative thought, as I'm going down that path, I started to actually feel and see all the negative flashes of anything I'd ever done in my life. Literally, all the negatives. From the littlest moments of my life that I could remember, all the way till I was having this experience. I saw every negative thing that I ever did.
Kind of like a life review in screens?
It was, yeah.
It was like in screens.
But it was in flashes. It was like, it's kind of like if you watch a file download on your computer. It's just like that. I saw instantaneous flashes, but I was catching and hearing and feeling the experience from not just inside me, inside the person this was happening to. I saw it all, literally everything I ever did, negative. And I started to feel like I was not valuable. I wasn't worth saving. I wasn't worth existing anymore. And as soon as I had that thought, this warming presence came over me, and it came over me from behind, putting their arms on your shoulders and saying, no, you are worth being, you are worth existing. And now I started to flash forward to see all the good things I ever did in my life. And I got to see it from inside the people I helped, always. And I saw so much more good than I ever did bad, like way more good I did than I ever did bad. And I started to feel this message, see, you are worth existing. You are worth being. So I turned around and I felt the most overwhelming love that doesn't exist here. We get to see shadows of this love here. This love is so pure. And I call it light love because it actually had light to it. Like literally as this light hit me, as this love hit me, I felt that all the traumas, all the hard, self-inflicted and not, but all the traumas that were kind of damaged into me through my life, they washed away, they filled up with this love. It's almost as if I came as a broken man and this love healed me and made me whole.